Some of the stuff we have hanging around in the museum. There's a 1915, 17, and 16 Ohio license plates. Those were painted on just flat steel, and a lot of times the paints wore off on them, so those don't hold up real well. But after 17, they came up with the stamped ones, and that's a 1918 and 1919. So those held up a lot better, and they can be restored. Every year you got a new license plate in Ohio, so you could, instead of a sticker like we do now, you just got a new license plate, and that license plate number would stay the same, so you could have many years of the consecutive number. We also have Ohio also had trailer license plates specific for trailers. They also had truck ones, so depending on what you were driving. And these little plates up here are accessory, like clubs would have those. So you were in a hot rod club like the Rapid Tappets of Colerain Township, which my dad was. That's how he got that one. Shafters in Hamilton, Hilltoppers, which are still around and going strong. So there was lots of different license plates like that. So during wartime, steel was mostly being used for the war effort. So this is an Illinois license plate from '44. It was actually made out of soybean material, and they only had to last a year, but they found that these were not holding up. One, because of the weather, the rain was hard on them, but also the animals would eat them. So that was a short-lived license plate design. And over here we have Marge Schatz, one of Marge Schatz's license plates, 5MS. And then some other Ohio plates from the 40s. The wartime license plates are always more difficult to find because there wasn't as many of them made. And then up above, here's an Ohio plate. It's made out of aluminum. It has little ripples in it to try to make it have more strength. And then the Oklahoma license plate, 1928, that's actually got an F on it for Ford, because so many people would buy one license plate and change it on different vehicles. So as long as they had all Fords, they could probably still get away with it. But if they had anything other than a Ford, they had to have different license plates. So many of the little accessories here hanging on the wall were license plate toppers, and that would go on top of your license plate, and like a little cat up on top, his eyes would rattle and jiggle back and forth. California World Fair, all the World's Fairs always had a different license plate topper, and souvenirs that you could take home. Patriotic toppers were always in demand, and they also had radiator badges, like that Old Trails badge that would go on your radiator, and has two little holes and just stamp on or bolt onto your radiator through the fins. This one over here is a 1914 one-horse license for a one-horse wagon for the city of Cincinnati from the Houck Brothers, which I believe was a brewery down in Cincinnati at the time. So this license plate's a 1911 Ohio plate. The early plates, starting in 1908, was when Ohio started making license plates. They were porcelain on steel, and the numbers is all porcelain. So the plates held up pretty well. They would chip out where they were bolted onto the vehicle. And at the time, you also had two license plates on all vehicles. But 1908 and 1909 did not have a date on them. They were both blue and white, and the only difference was the number between the years. So they were not changed too much. 1910 came out with another porcelain plate, and they were actually like a wood grain, but also porcelain. And 1911 was white with black letters or numbers. And 1912, I can't remember. 1912 was also a porcelain plate, and it was green. 1913 was the first year for the painted license plates, which they carried on until 17. And then they started stamping them into steel. The back of the 1911 plates and the porcelain plates had the maker's mark on the back as well, made in Ohio. So the back of this Model T had originally only had the taillight, and most people had to figure out how to mount the license plate on the back of your car. And usually the way was doing that was just bolting it to the car right through the body. If you didn't want to do that, you could buy a bracket that would give you a license plate holder, and that's what this car has. If you notice on the fronts of some of these cars, there's original license plates on them. And there's a few others walking through the museum to look at. So there's 32, and these are both 29s. This one has a license plate topper on it. Get to it. This 32 has unique license plate topper. Many towns would have their own made. This one's from Hazard, Kentucky. That you could have had some from your local school, your local stores, whatever. A lot of people made them over the years. And even the license plate attachments, they made accessories. So you could have the patriotic flags, or they also had glass ones that were reflectors. There's a variety of those as well. So you could make a bunch of different license plate toppers and dress up your car to however you want. Let's go.